And welcome back to Cool Stuff Games Maitland for our round 6, the final round of Swiss here in our Florida Midseason Showdown. We've got a win and in, Brady. Both of these players sitting at 4-1. It's going to be an interesting round 6 here as both of these players are going to be feeling the pressure and wanting so badly to try and get that top 8 top cut and move on with a chance to win this whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my goodness. I was looking at these teams. I could not help but feel a little bit of joy, Okay, so I'll start with the boring one at first. A little boring, quote unquote, in comparison to, what we're going to get into. So Albert's team, first up, is a team of Tornadus, Ogre Pond, Wellspring, Urshifu Rapid Strike. So there's 2 water types there. There's a Chin-Pao Dragonite, so you have that Chin-Pao Dragonite combination, and Landorus. It seems like it's very similar to a Regulation D team, except with the addition of an Ogre Pond on there, presumably over like an Amoonguss or maybe like a Rillaboom on that kind of lineup. However, even though this team is very similar to Regulation D, this next team that we have up is made of almost exclusively Regulation E Pokemon. So Aaron's team is, first of all, the Clefairy. Second of all, the Ursaluna Blood Moon. So we were talking about that earlier, right? The Calm Mind setup version. This one is not Calm Mind, except it is Throat Spray. So it uses Hyper Voice, boosts special attack, and then kind of wants to go to town from there. In addition to Clefairy, Ursaluna, you have the Okidogi, which I have never seen this thing in action. I know it sets up, and then it just does damage. So, I look forward to that. Outside of that, you have a Snorlax, and this Snorlax is not the traditional setup one. It's actually an Assault Vest Snorlax. So, It's going to be very, very specially defensive, very fat, has Heavy Slam to deal with, opposing Fluttermane, presumably. Next up on the list of new Pokemon, you had Ninetales Alola, and this is just an Auroraville team, presumably to assist with the setup of the Ursaluna and the Okidogi. And then finally, just to round out the team, Aaron decided to add a Tornadus on the team for some speed control.
Hey, we've seen it all day long. Tornadus is, which is kind of crazy. We've seen so many Tornadus as we've, continued on throughout this mid-season showdown, but it was, what, 5th, 6th in terms of top used mons. Interesting to note that among those top used mons, now we saw it in the last match where our opponents were, 4-0. These guys are 4-1. They're doing quite well, and there might be a theme there.
Oh, yeah. That's actually something I really want to break down after this set is over and we get the results. I'm very curious to see what the percentage of teams in Top Cut have Tornadus, because we've seen it almost everywhere today, and we've only been featuring the, like the 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, like, the higher ups in terms of the accomplishments. So basically, I'm very interested to see what percentage of Top Cut teams end up having a Tornadus on them.
Well, one thing that I want to note about Aaron Barnyard's team, now it's full of anti-meta Pokemon. It's got the Okidogi. It's got the Snorlax, the Ursaluna Blood Moon. It doesn't have Trick Room.
Yeah.
You've got a Snorlax, the sleeping Pokemon, one of the slowest Pokemon around,
right,
who would thrive in Trick Room. And Aaron doesn't have it.
You ever heard of Turbolax by any chance?
I have, yes.
All right.
Educate our audience here.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, so back in the day, 2018 really is when it was. There was this one team comp that was going around. I remember Brandon Zhang brought this to Worlds. He actually Top Cut Worlds with it. It was a team of Clefairy, Snorlax, and you also had like Tailwind on the team. So generally, it's like, you're right, Snorlax wouldn't be slow, bulky setup. But because this team had Friend Guard on it, they would go Belly Drum, but they would go Jolly Snorlax, just try to outspeed and just punch you, and it would just like outspeed like random stuff you'd never expected outspeed. So I think that might be what Aaron's going for here, a very fast Snorlax combined with Tornadus to maybe get some cheese KOs said. So
talk about things that I would not want to see coming at me is a full speed Jolly Snorlax.
Right.
And now we've got both players set up and just about ready to begin this round 6. And as different of teams as we have seen today, I gotta be honest, I am really excited for this match. I think we saved the best for last
Right.
for this Swiss. Aaron's team, I gotta be honest, I'm rooting for it.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's like, how can
and
you root
it's-
against that, right? Like,
right? I want to see how it's piloted.
right.
Because I'm looking at this team sheet and I'm just like, I don't know where you're going with this. The assault vested Snorlax, the throat spray Ursaluna without Trick Room. Well, I guess that's why you have your Ninetales with Aurora Veil and the speed control on Tornadus, because why rely on 5 turns to get things done when you can just try and take them out?
So yeah. So I after looking at this, after dissecting this, silently in my head, I think I finally know exactly how Aaron's team operates. So what it looks to do is you pick a sweeper. Either it's going to be Okidogi or Ursaluna or both. And you combine that with support from Ninetales to give you damage reduction. You have speed control Tornadus, but really it's focused around the Clefairy. So he's going to be bringing one of Okidogi, Ursaluna, and probably Clefairy inside these matchups, just redirecting and protecting his setup sweepers. So that's what I assume is going to be happening. However, I wonder how that's going to fare into Albert's team being a much more standard, much more run-of-the-mill, much more proven type of archetype, being that Dragonite, Chien-Pao, or Shifu Rapid Strikes.
Oh, I personally want to see the Snorlax in action. It being, one of the original 151 holds a special place in my heart. But it's seen some VGC success in its history. Gmax Snorlax was a prevalent threat, and who knows? Now with Regulation E, it being legal, will it be able to thrive with the Terra mechanic?
I think from the looks of this, the way to break Aaron's team from Albert's perspective, it's got to be focused around that Urshifu Rapid Strike, because it's able to crit through the Ninetales, because it's able to do a lot of damage to Clefairy. It's just like, I feel like it's all going to boil down to how Albert decides to play his Urshifu, and I assume that Chien-Pao will be a big baller inside this matchup as well, because you can combine that with Urshifu to kind of just give it way more potency inside of its attacking capabilities.
Absolutely. I think initially looking at the team matchups, Albert's probably looking at the Dragonite Chien-Pao combination like, hey, they don't have a ghost type on the other side of the field. This guy's just going to eat. However, we do have Terra Ghost on the Ninetales, the Tornadus, Terra Steel on the Snorlax, Terra Ghost on the Ursaluna. So there's, if Aaron can bait Albert into going, Terra Normal Extreme Speed, he has the options to work around it.
Now, the other thing, though, is that, inside of, from Albert's perspective, there's only one that can tear it. So it's just like, you just have to wait for it. You're like, okay, one of these will do it. Which one is it? I don't know, but, when you do it, I'm just going to ignore you and attack the other things, So I feel like that's kind of like a trap card, It's like, when does Aaron decide to activate that? But we do see the Ursaluna and Tornadus. This is not what I was expecting.
No,
from Aaron's
not
team.
even a little bit. And then the Tornadus and Dragonite on Albert's team. Interesting to see the Dragonite paired up with something that's not the Tornadus, or that's not the Chien-Pao. But the Ursaluna Blood Moon making its stream debut here in Regulation E. I'm really excited to see how it's able to fare against Albert's team.
So in my opinion, right, if you're Aaron, I'm thinking great. This looks amazing for my Ursaluna to just click Hyper Voice, get my Throat Spray really set up. Now the question is, do I go for Tailwind? Do I go for Bleak Wind Storm? What do I do? I believe I saw Aaron actually opt to go for a Terra Ghost immediately, presumably to kind of, bypass this Extreme Speed, which might be coming out here just
Could
with
this
the
be
guns.
a great call? The Ursaluna now going to Terra as well. It is Terra Ghost with the Throat Spray, so it's going to get a boost to its special attack once it's able to attack. Let's see whether or not Albert made this call and went for the Tornadus. Oh, a leer from the opposing Tornadus to drop defenses. I love
so
that
no
move.
extreme speed came out from the Dragonite. That should be noted. So Leer went first.
Absolutely.
So, you know, what I think might actually happen here
And a
is maybe
speed drop.
Oh, that's...
Oh, that might have just
okay.
been...
Well, let's hold up. Let's see. Let's see what happens here. Is it like outrage or what does this thing even have? It is out, so it has outrage. Let's see what it clicks.
Throat spray is going to activate. It is outrage into the Tornadus.
That's not the one you
and,
wanted to attack.
Oh, it's going to hold on with the focus sash, letting the Tornadus continue to live and potentially give Aaron the speed control that he needs to win the rest of this game.
Now, what's cool about Albert's position is that by going to Chin Pao here, you're able to just kind of sucker punch this bear. You know, it's like, yes, Tailwind's going to come out here from Tornadus because there's not really much incentive to not click that. I mean, you could go for Icy Wind as well. You know, Icy Wind might actually work. Now, do you know off the top of your legs? I genuinely not know this calc. Like, maybe it depends on how they're trained. If this Sucker Punch should knock out the Ursaluna, given it is super effective.
I don't think so. I think Ursaluna's physical bulk is roughly around 90 base. So unless the Chin Pao is adamant, I don't think it's going to be able to knock it out from full health. Even if and he goes for the icicle crash.
He's trying to flinch. Oh wait.
The hyper voice going to connect.
That Sucker Punch would have knocked out, because remember, it was -1 defense from the Leer.
The Leer,
so,
you're right.
So Sucker Punch would have actually been a great play there, but Icicle Crash, presumably going for the flinch, you know? But it didn't pay off.
No, but we are going to get an Intimidate down as Landorus enters the field. Now, however, I'm pretty sure we can confidently say that the Sucker Punch into an Ursaluna would knock it out. I think now we're pretty certain of that. However, losing your Terra and losing that Dragonite on Albert's side of the field, that hurts. That hurts. That's a big Mon gone.
You know, if I was Aaron, I would I would click Icy Wind, Hyper Voice, don't even think, just click double spread move and just, that's okay, man. Whatever happens, you know, I'm gonna have one of these, you know, unless I miss both of my Icy Winds, in which case I'd be really sad, but hopefully that does not happen. Oh wait, actually, is this Landorus owning the Choice Scarf? It is not owning the Choice Scarf from Albert's side, so it seems like a very straightforward, just kind of double spread moves to clean out this game from Aaron. Aaron actually goes for the Protect. Now, I am very interested to see why that was clicked. So is the
Bleak Wind Storm instead of the Icy Wind that would have been 4 times effective onto the Landorus.
More accurate.
A Rock Slide coming out, obviously not going to hit the Ursaluna who protected. It is going to connect onto the Tornadus and remove it from the field for the rest of the match.
This is actually not bad. You know, I actually do totally see why I did that, because now Clefairy can come in very freely and just click Follow Me next to the Hyper Voice from the Ursaluna. Now, there's nothing that can happen, barring maybe a triple Protect from Chin Pao and a double Protect from Landorus, and then Rock Slide flinching, but that's the only way I can see Albert maybe winning this. So this is a fine position from Aaron, given there's still 2 more turns of Tailwind.
Well, we've got, it's going to be very dependent on how this Ursaluna is trained. If the Tailwind is enough to let it outspeed the Chin Pao and the Landorus. Clefairy, Follow Me, Icicle Crash connects into the Clefairy, does less than half. Ursaluna does outspeed the Landorus, and at +1 is able to clean up the rest of the field. So, while we talked about it earlier, it's now making its presence known. That Ursaluna Blood Moon is a Pokemon that is ready to take down Reg E. And Aaron taking game 1.
That was very well played. I liked how Aaron set the end game. You know, so there was like an objectively correct play in the sense of clicking Icy-Wind because, number one, it was 4 times super effective. Number two, was more accurate. I just feel like I want to, as a coach, I feel like I have to kind of point out those plays so that the audience can listen and they can, improve from it. And maybe if Aaron watches this replay, he can watch that and then, learn from his mistakes. That was the only mistake I saw, was just like the Icy-Wind not being clicked. Like, outside of that, I loved how he positioned that Clefairy in game to where it was Clefairy next to the Ursaluna. That was very intelligent. That was very, very smart. And that was brilliant play. So all in all, like, I thought Aaron just played that very well. As from Albert's perspective, Urshifu was not even brought to this game, was it?
Which was very interesting considering looking at Aaron's team. The Urshifu Choice Scarf is going to put a lot of pressure onto Aaron's team.
Yeah, like, that's the thing is, like, number one, it's good into the Ninetales, which Ninetales wasn't even brought, so it's not really more about that. It's more so just the ability to Terra Water next to these Sword of Ruin. You are just able to really punch through everything. Like, you one-hit knockout Tornadus, one-hit knockout Ninetales. You can do a bunch of damage to Ursaluna or force their Terastallization. You can do a bunch of damage to Clefairy. You can one-hit knock out the Snorlax. Like, it's just, with Urshifu in the right condition, it can just create a window to where it can just punch through everything. But I feel like it all comes down to playing Tornadus very smart from Albert's side and enabling the Urshifu to go up while outspeeding everything, because it is a Tornadus mirror after all, even though Aaron's team is very slow, it looks like it should be slow. It's deceptively fast,
Shaking things up with these leads. Hey, Albert must have been listening, because we've got the Tornadus and Urshifu on his side of the field, but the Ninetales and one of the new Pokemon in the Scarlet and Violet DLC, Okidogi, makes its stream debut. Look at that little guy.
So this is where I am so happy that Urshifu was brought, because there is one play that Albert can technically go for here, which I would be very impressed. And that play, in my eyes, would be going for the Terra Water and just going for the knockout in Ninetales and switching out into your Chin-Pow just to ensure you can knock it out in one shot. That way you just get on the offense, you can just start mowing stuff down, because you are holding the Choice Scarf on Urshifu and it does outspeed its Ninetales, so denying an Auroraville setup might be very impactful.
We are going to see a Terastallization, and going to be the Urshifu. Do you have Albert's ear here, Brady?
I just don't know if this knocks out. It depends on how the Ninetales is trained. It might be able to survive this. Like, now it's not. Okay, no, okay, that was genius. I did not know Rain Dance was an option. That is so. That's why it's so important you look at the team sheets. It's like
the Surgery strikes into the Okidogi right away.
This Ninetales is doing nothing
Absolutely not. And 1, 2, 3.
That was so good. Wow.
Say hello and goodbye to Okidogi.
So Albert, like, that was such a smart adjustment with the Rain Dance, just kind of calling out the Ninetales. Dazzling Gleam, that's going to come out here, but Urshifu's not weak to that. It's a Ninetales, it's not like a Fluttermane, so that Dazzling Gleam not doing nearly as much as it could possibly do. Oh man, Albert set this up so good, especially if Chin-Pow's in the back, because this means that if you go to Chin-Pow, you can just get a knockout every single turn. It's like punch, gone, great game, man. So I think we're going to be getting game 3 off this. I don't want to write off Aaron too soon, but Albert just set this board up phenomenally. Like, this is so hard to displace this Urshifu.
Well, and I think you were absolutely correct in our pregame analysis, where the Okidogi, its role was to get set up and then sweep. And looking at Aaron's team now, the Ninetales, without the snow and the ability to put up the Auroraville, and without the 100% accurate, oh my goodness, Blizzards, this is gonna eat.
So that's going into Ninetales. Honestly, from my perspective, I would have loved to have seen that specific Surging Strikes go into the Tornadus, because Tornadus is locked into clicking, either Tailwind or Bleak Wind Storm. And now it's like Tornadus gets a Tailwind the following turn. No, it does not. No, it does not, because Taunt can come out from Tornadus. So that wasn't that bad, honestly. Like, all in all, like, it was pretty solid. I still think Albert's position is great.
Yes, Aaron is in a very, very difficult position here with Tornadus and Clefairy, neither of whom are really known for their offensive prowess. However, important to note that with the rain up, Bleak Windstorm's now 100% accurate. You don't have to risk those 80%. So we are going to get a terrestrialization from Aaron's side, and it's going to be the little Clefairy going Terra Grass. Oh, come on. Look at how cute it is with a flower on its head.
So this is why Tornadus is so good with their Shifu, is because, like, a lot of... Why is its eyes? Why do its eyes look like
No.
that? That's so creepy.
So alarming.
But,
The leer. The leer is such an interesting play. I love it.
Well, leer is really cool. Like, what I was going to say is, like, you had Aaron pinned down the ability to quick, Bleak Wind Storm plus Surging Strikes, because the Clefairy, if it did opt to Terra Grass, we did see, then the Bleak Wind Storm would have knocked it out. However, Leer coming out, I get it. Like, Albert is already so far ahead, so, like, he's just kind of clicking buttons here, just hoping to sack his front to get into his back to, ideally, he's going to win from there, because Chimpao looks like he just comes in, and Chimpao loves this board.
Oh, and I saw Aaron gave his little Clefairy plush a head pat. Like, good job, little buddy. You did the best that you could in this situation.
You want to know one thing, which I think is very interesting here, is that, despite all this, Aaron did not lose his focus sash on the Tornadus. So the fact that Tornadus still has its sash intact may mean that in the right condition, it might be able to win this game. It will take a lot, and I mean a lot, for this to happen, such as a Rock Slide miss. You need like a Rock Slide miss, you need a Bleak Wind crit probably on Landorus, and then you'd have to lower the speed on Chimpao. If you can get all those, then, like, I think you can win.
If.
This is
a very large if. Albert's got to be feeling pretty good. He made some solid adjustments here in this game too, and
that's
now
good.
the Chimpao, well, Tornadus going to protect. Chimpao and Landorus staring down at Clefairy. Chimpao opting to protect while he has the Tailwind. Interesting call.
So, okay, first of all, I gotta say, I actually believe what Aaron was trying to do there is fish for a Rock Slide miss, assume that the Ice Spinner was going to go on Tornadus, and then he could catch it with a Dazzling Green, break the sash, and then next turn, go for the Follow Me, Bleak Wind Storm, and, figure that out. However, Albert just called that out and was like, dude, I'm just gonna protect him. I'm protecting and Rock Sliding. And, like, it worked, so.
Hey, and now 2v1, Landorus and Chimpao both have super effective moves into the Tornadus. Tornadus with the Focus Sash is going to be able to live one, but not both attacks. With Albert still having one more turn of Tailwind, going to outspeed the Tornadus on Aaron's side of the field. The Icicle Crash comes out and connects, bringing Tornadus down to its Focus Sash. And now we have to see, is the Rock Slide going to connect? And Albert doesn't even risk it. Goes for the straight Terra Blast to finish it off. And after not having a Game 3 for 4 rounds, we now have back-to-back Game 3s.
So, all right, let's break this down. What went wrong for Aaron inside of Game 2, what Aaron can maybe do inside of Game 3, and what went right for Albert. So, what went wrong for Aaron inside of Game 1 was, first of all, he tried adjusting, tried getting a little bit funny with the Ninetales and Okie Dokie, as we saw that Urshifu just punched a hole inside the whole strategy with the Rain Dance from Tornadus. So you have to be very careful if you're bringing Ninetales, maybe even bench it, because Rain Dance kind of shuts down what you're trying to go for with the Aurora Veil. You cannot get that off, and it enables the Urshifu, which you had troubles beating. So that was, I think, what went wrong was just the lead in turn 1 from Aaron. From there, it was a very, it was very downhill from the perspective of Albert. He was just going quick. What went right for Albert was he just enabled his Urshifu. Literally, you saw that. It's like Urshifu just punch, dead, great game, well played, let's go to Game 3. So Urshifu was definitely the star of the last round.
I think if you are Aaron, and you want to bring the Ninetales, you have to bring it in the back in hopes that you can catch Albert trying to set up the Rain Dance. But even then, you can try and counteract it after it's already up, but he's still going to have a turn with a presumably Terra Water, Choice Scarfed Urshifu that's going to tear a hole through your team.
And I think it all boils down to team selection, right? Because if you look at Aaron's team, he does not have a single water resist anywhere on this team. The only thing he has is by committing his Terra on a Clefairy, which can be very predictable and very linear with play. So I think that if Albert is able to exploit the fact that the only way to protect, or the only way to resist a Surging Strikes is by clicking Terra on Clefairy on that exact turn, then I think that Albert can come out on top here. That's what Albert might be thinking of. However, Aaron going with the Okie Dokie turn 1, saying, I'm going to set up this time, it's going to work this time, and leading with Clefairy.
This is the same lead from Albert. I think that's a great call by him because now you've seen what these two can do. How are you going to stop it? So, Okie Dokie gonna try and make up for that game 2. And Clefairy, its buddy over there, gonna try and give it the help it deserves, but Urshifu withdrawing.
Now,
and Landorus coming in. An interesting thing here, Brady, that we haven't gotten a chance to touch on, Okie Dokie's ability, Guard Dog.
Right, I forgot about that.
Ignores Intimidate and gives Okie Dokie an attack boost.
So is that how that works? Like I thought it just ignored it. I thought it was just like oblivious, right?
Oh.
So it's defiant.
It's defiant only for Intimidate. So if you get intimidated, you get the attack boost. If you drop any of its other stats, it does not proc. Bleak Windstorm coming out and connecting on both Okie Dokie and Clefairy, and Okie Dokie, he's getting bulky.
So I know the logic of why Albert just swapped out turn 1. He was expecting a Terra Grass coming from the Clefairy right there to try to redirect away the Surging Strikes. Based on how that was played, which I totally get, because then if Terra Grass did come out, then you could go for like a Terra Flying with Landorus, knock it out. And what this also does is you have the benefit of just chipping down this Okie Dokie in the early game. You're saying, okay, I'm totally okay with you setting up because I know in the late game I'll just go into my Urshifu and just swoop you. You know, it's like you can keep setting up right now. I don't really care. I have you in check in the mid game.
Oh, sitting at +2 attack, +1 defense. The tough thing for Aaron is that Urshifu, as you talked about, the Surging Strikes, going to completely ignore those bulk ups with the guaranteed critical hits. So no matter what Aaron does here, he can't prevent the Urshifu from knocking it out.
Now, that being said, with Albert's, with Aaron's Clefairy, Friend Guard makes this very interesting because even with these Surging Strikes, you need rain. You really need rain, but you also want Tailwind. So Albert has a lot of setup he needs because turn 1, right, like you're chipping down this Okie Dokie. First of all, that's doing a good job. You also got the speed drop. That's kind of cool. That's cute. But Poison Jab is going to knock out the Tornadus. Yeah, that didn't matter. It was at +2. But yeah, so Urshifu can come in, but then there is the Clefairy redirected away. So this is, maybe Okie Dokie's kind of putting in the effort right now.
Oh, absolutely. Being able to reduce that damage was a great adjustment by Aaron, and Clefairy, it has a tendency to just stick around. And sometimes when you let something stick around like that, it has a chance to really throw off your game plan.
Read the protect, read the protect, read the protect. Okay, if I'm Albert, every time I'm always doubling Clefairy because he wants to protect that Okie Dokie. That's so obvious. You've allocated so many resources into setting it up already. You're not going to let it go down this turn. Like I would just like double tap the Clef this turn with like a Terra Blast.
We are going to see Terra come out for Albert. It's going to be Terra Flying on the Landorus, which is holding the Life Orb. So it's going to be big hits here.
This is going to be interesting. So,
Chien-Pao opting to protect.
Now, okay, I wonder if this did go into the Okie Dokie. If that's the oh, wait. Okay, if this goes into Clef, then very, very smart play. Let's see how this goes in. Yep, very smart play. Very good. That I could smell that mistake. I could smell like over here.
100%. The Terra Flying Terra Blast, able to knock out the Clefairy. We saw Aaron give his little Clefairy plush another head pat. saying, good job. You allowed me to get set up a little bit. And now at +2 attack and +1 defense, here comes the Tornadus to try and give this Okie Dokie enough speed to outmatch this Landorus and Chen Pao.
So my question is, right, does this, okay. Actually, now I'm kind of confused. Okay, so if Tailwind comes out, then you can knock out the Landorus presumably with like a Poison Jab or something like that. Or you can Drain Punch the Chen Pao if you really want your HP back. But my question is, does this Terra Blast knock out the Okie Dokie if there's no Tailwind that decides to come out this turn?
I think it's got a pretty good shot, and I think if I'm Aaron, I'm probably not electing to Tailwind because of the speed drop that we had earlier in the game on the Okie Dokie. It's already sitting at -1, so Icicle Crash coming into the Okie Dokie, not going to be able to take it out. Tornadus, a Bleak Wind, bringing both the Landorus and Chen Pao down to half, and a speed fall on the Chen Pao could come into play later. Terra Blast into Okie Dokie, and Okie Dokie is out of here.
So, that Okie Dokie ended up just being a hog. He got 1 KO.
No, it's a dog.
Right. Okay, well, you may be a dog, but ended up being a hog in the sense of hogging a Terra, hogging a lot of time from the game, and just kind of trying to get itself set up just to get 1 KO and then get revenge KO'd. It's like, it ended up not quite doing what it was hoping to do there. Now, however, all of that being said, there is the opportunity to click Tailwind, Hyper Voice, and this game can be entirely salvaged from Aaron's perspective here.
I think Aaron did a great job concealing this Ursaluna Blood Moon until the very end of the game here. With the Tailwind, we already know that Ursaluna is going to outspeed the Landorus. So, with the Chen Pao protecting, Tailwind officially coming out on Aaron's side of the field. Hyper Voice, it's not an Assault-Vested Landorus, so the stab should be able to take it out, and it does. Now, Ursaluna going to +1 special attack, and it's got its speed doubled.
So the only question that remains, does this, I guess there's 2 questions. Does this Urshifu, 1, have the capability to knock out this Ursaluna? And the other question remains is, does this Urshifu outspeed? Actually, okay, I know Urshifu does outspeed Ursaluna. Tornading its Sash is kind of crazy. This gets kind of dicey because, let me try to explain this. There's still Sash intact on Tornadus, so it can live 1 attack guaranteed. We saw in the past that the Chen Pao does outspeed the Ursaluna, so that needs to be noted. That being said, though, I think the Surging Strikes might be able to pick up one of these, if it gets off, and not mention Blink Miss.
Oh, that knocks both out!
Knocks out both. Wow.
That's huge! That Tornadus has been...
All right,
oh my goodness. That Tornadus just said, Ursaluna, I got this. And takes out Albert. Aaron going to move on and presumably make it into our top cut here at the Florida Midseason Showdown. Holy cow, I was not ready for both of those to get knocked out there.
So, all right. First of all, we have to say a very, very big congratulations to Aaron for making top cut of this mid-season showdown. Congratulations on making top cut with a team that I would have never have expected to see today with the Okie Dokie. And you know what? It was one of his unique picks that put in work. Like the Blood Moon, for example, that clutched out the end game. That was really, really cool. I loved seeing that. All in all, I thought that was a pretty good set. As for how maybe Albert could have improved, it was literally just one mistake I saw. It was just turn 1. Albert was set up a great position with the Chen Pao there, with the Urshifu plus the Tornadus. There could have been a pan of a Bleak Wind Storm plus a Surging Strikes or a Rain Dance Surging Strikes and gotten the offense, but instead just that one turn is all it took for Aaron to be able to win this. Was Albert switching out of his Urshifu into Landorus, activating the guard dog, and then it started snowballing out of control from that point onwards.
And with Regulation E being brand new today, the first day of the format, you got to wonder, did Albert know that's what's going to happen?
I would have had no idea.
Was he okay with it? Did he think it was going to get the knockout? But all in all, Aaron, able to take that set. This is going to be an incredible top 8. I want to thank everybody who's watched through our first 6 rounds of Swiss. We will be taking a break here for a little while in order to conduct hack checks, get our top 8 situated, and our top 8 graphic created. So stick with us. We're super excited for the rest of this, and let's see how it finishes up. We'll be right back.